and welcome back to the Replayer Podcast. I am Pagan, your host for this week, and joining me, as always, is Dan, my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, hi, I'm
Hello.
Dan.
If you didn't know, my
You know,
name's Dan.
have you ever? Did you see the Snyder cut?
I have not seen the Snyder Cut.
It's a really cute moment, and I actually think it was in the original Justice League. Yeah, I think it was. It was in the
Hmm.
original Justice League as well, where Barry Allen meets Diana, Prince for the first time,
Okay.
Wonder Woman, and she's like, "Hi, Barry, I'm Diana," and he holds out his hand, and he's like, "Hi, Barry, I'm Diana." No, that's not right. Like, and I'm like, that's
Wait.
so cute. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know why that triggered me there, but there you go.
I did not see that movie. I was not making a reference to that.
Oh my god. Well, no, because I mean, you were like, "Hi, I'm Dan." Whereas if you were, you'd
Yeah.
be like, "Hi, I'm Pagan. This is Dan."
Yes.
Um, yes, it was a really cute moment. I don't know. People
I
might have seen it.
If we're
It
gonna
was
talk
pretty
about the
cool.
Snyder Cut, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I've seen enough people say that they're like, this movie's fine. It's good, but it's fine. And I'm just like, cool. I don't need to spend 4 hours watching a movie I wasn't interested in watching then.
I have so much to say on this movie. Um,
That's
yeah,
another podcast.
I mean, it is. It's another podcast, and I think it'd be really cool to actually just get into it. Maybe with Drew. Like,
I
if
mean,
Drew sees it eventually, like, let's have a chat because the two, like, what I'll say about the Snyder Cut is the two films are completely separate. And yes, the theme is the same, essentially. But the tone is completely different, that it just feels like a
mm,
different film. The tone, the angles, there's extra scenes, there's good background, there's good dialogue.
mm.
There's an amazing scene at the end of the film, and you're like, what the fuck were you thinking, Joss Whedon? Like, why would you cut this out? It just anyway, listen, it's fine. I'll go on for a
I
rant another
will
time.
say
But it's
something.
excellent.
I had heard somebody make a comparison about the whole thing with the changing directors and whatnot, and I apologize. I don't remember who said this. I'd be kind of paraphrasing what they said. That they said the whole thing with the Snyder Cut is very much like if you were to take a painting, if you got like Van Gogh to start making a painting, and like
Yeah.
3/4 of the way through it, they said, "Oh no, you stop what you're doing. We're gonna have this other guy finish the painting," and then that guy comes in and says, "Well, I like this bit, but I don't like that bit, so I'm gonna change this bit and I'm gonna change that bit," and just paints over what the other guy did. And then they said, "You know what? We don't like that. We're gonna go back to the first guy, but he can only keep painting on top of the original canvas. It
Hmm.
it just it bleh, it just turns into a mess."
I mean, I see what you're talking about, but I think like if you I think you should. If you've seen the original theater release version of Justice League, you would do yourself a favor if you were at all interested in this industry and how it works and how and what happened,
Hmm.
right? And like what happened and how it was changed. You would do yourself a disservice by not seeing the Snyder Cut. I think you should because you'll see exactly what Zach intended. The music is different, by the way. The tone is different. Like the color palette it seems different. It just everything feels like a different movie and as it was originally intended. Because
Hmm.
now when I see that, I can see the Snyder shots that were in the theater release that just don't fit the theater release.
Oh,
Like
I gotcha.
everything else was built around those shots and like everything was changed and the angles and everything.
Hmm.
And it's just better in Snyder's version because he's like, this is where this piece of the puzzle slotted in perfectly for the rest of this movie. And in Joss's one, it's like, here's this piece of the puzzle that's kind of okay, and we just put another bits of puzzle pieces around it and like made it fit. Um, and that's how that felt. Like watching the first like theater release was good. It was like, yeah, this is an all right movie. I wasn't blown away by it. I didn't care for the movie. It was okay.
Hmm.
And I've expressed that before. But watching the Snyder cut, let me put it this way. Myself and Adam were talking about the other day, what would be our Mount Rushmore of superhero movies? And the first movie that came to mind was Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut Justice League is one of my top 4, top 5 best superhero slash comic book movies of all time.
See,
And
now
that's
for
a
me, that would
hard
be
thing to say.
Avengers easily.
Right. And Avengers is amazing. And I put that in there, like Avengers, Iron Man. Um, Technically, actually, my top 4 comic book movies was Constantine, 300, The Snyder Cut, and Iron Man. Those are my
All right.
top 4 comic book movies. Superhero films, Avengers is a great film.
See, I
Iron
have
Man
a
1 and
hard
2 are
argument
fantastic.
for The Incredibles. I think The Incredibles is one of
Oh,
the best
so great.
superhero movies ever made. I will fight people to the death over that.
Okay, I would totally agree with that. I was actually thinking more like live action, but that's fair.
Here's a side
That's a great
tangent. Here's a
movie.
completely off the cuff, like
We've
crazy
already
tangent.
started on a tangent.
Oh my God. I don't care. We're going there.
Let's go. We're rolling.
So I watched Godzilla vs. Kong. You've seen Godzilla vs. Kong.
I have
Within
seen
the
that, yes.
first 20 minutes of that movie, there was a little bit of me that was like, is this going to do The Incredibles? Are they going to go Incredibles with this? There's a plot point in the movie. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there's a plot point about the, like, kind of like who would be the main antagonist in the movie. And
Right.
it felt like the antagonist in The Incredibles, like he was creating a situation that would require superheroes to come back, and he was going to be that superhero. And there was
Yeah.
a tiny bit of me that was like, I wonder if that's where this movie's going.
Mhm.
No spoilers. It doesn't quite do that. So I didn't just spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet. Go
Yeah,
see
no,
it. The
it
movie's
doesn't.
incredible.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean about it. Um, yeah, look, I think you should watch the Snyder Cut. It is a great movie. It is
I want to just
it just
because of
feels completely
the
different.
zeitgeist around it, that it's the
And you should.
thing. And like I will say this: if we can get something figured out where like we want to do a deep dive like we did and get
Let's do
Drew to
it.
come on and he wants to nerd out about it, I'll happily do it. I will find the way to watch the Snyder Cut and even try to watch Justice League if to use as comparison so that I can have the two sides of the coin. Because I know
Yeah.
you said, it just watch Snyder Cut. You don't really have to watch Justice League.
You don't really have to watch it, but I think like you should, because I think like ultimately what we did for the Snyder Cut release, like what we did before that to prep ourselves, we watched Batman versus Superman.
Mm,
So first Man of Steel
right.
and Batman versus Superman, and now Justice League. And you just should.
Okay.
You just
So
should.
those are the
Just
two
watch
movies
it
you
that
think are
way.
relevant to watch Justice League.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they are all of them are the Snyder 5 essentially.
Okay,
You know
because
what I
he
mean?
made them.
So the Snyderverse?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Snyderverse was going to be like Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League, and two more
I see.
films. I believe now look, people can pop it in the comments on whenever they're watching this and correct me, but I think it was going to be like a Man of Steel 2, like a second Superman film, and then it was going to be a Justice League 2. The whole context of Justice League changed for Snyder Cut. So please go watch it. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I thought it was a phenomenal film. They shouldn't have look, it's 4 hours. They could have easily cut it down to 2 hours for a theatrical release without cutting out I guess essential plot points.
Mm.
But Joss Whedon, for some reason, just cut out all of those fucking plot points and created this other movie. And I was like, what? The only
Well, I feel
there's
like
like
that's part
only
of
like
the
some
painting
pinpricking
analogy.
moments where I'm like,
He
right.
got content that was already made, and then he said, "Okay, I have to make sense out of this and add to it." And he did it in what way made sense to him based on what was given to him. If he had shot that movie himself from the beginning, I'm sure it would have been a completely different film.
Yeah, I think the problem there is though, like he changed a lot of it. He
Yeah.
also reshot a lot of what was shot.
That's like what
And
happened to
for no reason, Dan. Like he changed a scene between Batman and Wonder Woman just to change the angle to get her ass in shot.
her ass.
Yes, her
Specifically
ass.
her ass, not just her. Like her ass in the shot.
No, her ass in
I
shot.
gotcha.
I will send you the photos of this meme.
I
But,
believe you.
there's also a moment in Justice League, in the Joss Whedon Justice League, where like Barry Allen trips or whatever and ends up like falling into Diana's boobs. and then gets up really quickly, like really embarrassed. That's not in Snyder Cut. That's not a Snyder
That's a
fucking
very
shot.
anime-esque type of scene.
It was the stupidest fucking thing that Joss Whedon put in the film, honestly. But anyway, it's his take on humor. I'm like, it wasn't even that funny. And actually, I believe if you deep dive this, I believe Gal Gadot refused to do that scene, and they had a double.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway,
Anyways,
watch Snyderverse is amazing. Let's do a deep dive. If you guys want to hear that, please let us know. Pop it in the comments.
make me watch the Snyder
right.
Cut.
Make Dan watch the Snyder Cut. Let me hear your versions or your thoughts on the Snyder Cut. I would love to talk to all of you about this. Yeah, love to talk to all of you about this. Let's deep dive potentially with Drew and maybe somebody who just saw it and didn't like it.
Yeah, sounds good. Anyways,
actually, side note, quick side note. I was on the podcast with Lily and Katie. And we spoke about the Snyder Cut and Zack Snyder in general and Justice League and Batman versus Superman. And Lily expressed that she hated the Justice League, hated Batman versus Superman, and thought the Snyder Cut was going to be so fucking stupid and there was no point, etc. And then she watched it and she texted me and was like, I was wrong. It's really good. And I'm like, really yes. So if you can, like, if people could turn around like that, then you can too. So go watch it and let me know. All right. This week we have quite a lot of fun and exciting episodes that came out. Obviously, we had Trailer Talk and the Retro Replay episode that aired on Thursday, which was so cool. But let's talk about Trailer Talk first. So we talked about Kina, Bridge of Spirits by Ember Lab. What this definitely is one of Kana. Sorry, did I say Kina?
Yes.
I read it. I was reading it.
Sorry. Right, and I have that same problem. Actually, I was afraid I was going to do the same thing, and I actually, well, it's like Nolan in the Trailer Talk was saying Kana, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, we actually, before we went on, we were talking about how it's pronounced Kana, and I read it phonetically on my own notes. I was like, okay, it's Kana. I need to remember that, because when it originally announced, I missed where they announced the actual title. I just read it and I was like, oh, it looks like Kina.
I went to the Ember Labs Twitter account, and that's where I saw they actually have a pin. I think it's a pinned tweet where they're saying it's Kana, like they phonetically spell it out, and it's like, gotcha, K. Now I know.
Yeah. Sorry, apologies. Yes, Kana, Bridge of Spirits is what we did this week, which is definitely one of my most anticipated games of 2021.
Yes, and I was
that and Deathloop, I think.
Deathloop,
my two highest.
I'm really happy that you guys, first of all, did the Trailer Talk for Kana, because one, it was the first time that Trailer Talk's done a video game, which is great. I'm glad to see Trailer Talk kind of like expand a little bit. Not to mention, what a great choice for our first video game Trailer Talk.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of options, but I think Kana is a perfect way to like start that journey to get into that, because of the, like, Paul didn't know it wasn't a video game or it wasn't a movie. He thought it was a movie. And I think that kind of makes it a perfect transition almost to be like, this looks like a movie. Holy shit. But not like, back in, the PS2, like Xbox original days where you would see a game and go, this looks like a movie, because that was the beginning of 3D graphics back then. But
yeah, sure. This definitely looks like a Pixar animated film.
Yes.
This looks fucking incredible.
They announced that game at the PlayStation 5 reveal event last year, I believe. And I know we talked about it because we had a discussion about that release event. And I remember highlighting Kana, which I mispronounced as Kina back then, and saying that this was easily one of my most looked forward to games for the PS5, PS4, PC. It's on PS4, PS5, PC. It's not exclusive to PS5, but still, it will be amazing on PS5.
But it will be amazing on PS5.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that because, like, as I said in Trailer Talk, like, the PlayStation 5 really is still a new baby and people are still making games for it. So there's not a lot that actually, I guess, utilize the potential of the PlayStation 5 and how great of a console it is. So yeah, so I'm super excited to see this. And then, as Drew pointed out, like with the arrow drawback, and you kind of get like a double arrow, like we can see that being implemented on the DualShock controller, or the PlayStation 5 controller.
The adaptive triggers.
Yeah, it's good.
That was a nice catch on Drew's part, because I hadn't noticed that either.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't notice that either. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited about this game. It looks adorable.
Hmm.
But also with like really dark elements, and I love that balance.
Yeah. It looks like a very dark Legend of Zelda type game. And I
For sure.
love like a good solid 3D action platformer,
Mhm.
which like I said, it just spoke to me in every way. And like a lot of the animation, the style, the look of it, it's that like cartoony but very mature and almost dark and gritty. And the combat looked really intense and fun on top of being a beautiful, colorful world.
Yeah.
And it just spoke to me in every possible way that I was like, this is like immediately right up there next to like Ratchet and Clank for the PS5, which is my
Mhm.
also one of my top, look forward to games.
Yeah, that actually looks amazing.
I love Ratchet and Clank. I love Ratchet and Clank. Like that's the main
Mhm.
reason I even got a PlayStation 5.
No, amazing. I've played a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, but not fully. Like I wasn't like I haven't cleared it or anything like I did Crash Bandicoot, for example,
Mm.
back in the day. Um, but yeah, like Kana seemed like such an interesting story. It did remind me a little bit of like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is really interesting, right? Because when I watched the trailer and I made that comparison in trailer talk, I didn't think anybody else would see this.
Mm.
Like in terms of like I didn't see my point of view regarding that because I'm like it kind of reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus, and it also reminds me of like Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Like it looks really, really cool, and I'm
Mm.
interested in this. But it kind of reminded me of Horizon Zero Dawn because of like you've got a female protagonist, she's clearing the areas of corruption. Um, it's just almost like the fight style is very similar. I was like, is anybody gonna make this
See now you're
thing? And
when
I'm
you
like, if you
I'm waiting for you to be like, "Oh, it's female protagonist. She
what
uses a bow." And I'm like, "Lara Croft?"
Lara Croft? No, no, it's not the same.
I know.
Um, whereas I think like there definitely is comparisons, and I just didn't think anybody would agree with me. And I'm super happy that when we were in the live chat, there was quite a few people before I even made that point. People were like, "Oh, this looks like a Horizon Zero Dawn cross with Zelda," and I was like, "Oh shit,
Mm. See, now
they are oh, that's
I never got that
awesome."
impression, but it's a fair one though. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I didn't get that watching the trailer. But then again, I also haven't played a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn, but enough to understand the gameplay, the mechanics, the look and feel of the game. So I think the biggest thing to me was watching the combat. To me, it looks like a more old school, grounded third person adventure, like hack and slash. But then it's like, oh, but then
Yeah,
you can
for
draw
sure.
it back and you do the bow shots, and it's like, okay, I can see where that's like you start to tie in some of the Horizon aspects. But
Silhouettes.
I'm curious to see what the different variations in enemy types in Kane are going to be, besides like the big boss creatures that we've seen in the trailer.
Yeah, which ultimately I think look like spirits that are trapped in the
Yeah,
world, and they become corrupted. I believe was the phrasing that they use on their website. They become corrupted and they're trapped, and then that makes them violent.
right.
And that's like when she's like setting them free, and this just looks like such a great, really interesting, wholesome story, which I'm sure will have such an amazing message. Like, and I knew that from the outset, knowing that like these little cute creatures, I was like, oh, I'm so
Oh, the
cute,
rot.
they're all amazing. It wasn't until like I did actual research. They are called the rot, and they are like trying to keep the balance by decomposing
Hmm.
dead matter. And I'm like, what's so great about that is rotting shit is not beautiful outside, okay? Like leaves falling on the ground, rotting, that is not beautiful. The act of the color change on the leaf, gorgeous. The fall, gorgeous. Actually being on the ground, rotting, it's not nice. But it is essential, right? It's essential for life. It's essential for like um the global production of living. Like it's just everywhere. This is how we're
Well,
going
it's
to
part of
continue
the
with the
cycle
world.
of life
Everything
and
needs
death
to
and everything.
exactly. It needs to decompose. So to make that cute, I thought was kind of amazing. And then I just was like, okay, well, they've made this cute so that you can understand that like they're necessary and you need to empathize and just like
Mhm.
have some sort of feelings towards the rot,
You
which is
ah,
just cool. And I love that.
Here's a great aspect I just thought of that
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's very much a Miyazaki type of aspect, way of looking at it. And you've just been watching some Miyazaki films, haven't you? So
Yeah,
do you
he's
see
super
where I'm coming
busy.
from like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen Totoro
Yes,
with the dust sprites?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Soot sprites. I'm sorry, that's what they're called. Soot sprites.
Soot sprites.
But I feel
Soot
like that's
sprites. And I
very
think they're
much
also
a.
in
They're in one of the other ones.
Spirited Away.
Yeah.
They're in Spirited Away.
It's to me that's
They're
a very
so cute.
Miyazaki
Sorry.
take on like that type of thing. Like let's take something that normally is looked at as kind of like gross or something you wouldn't want to look at,
Yeah.
and like let's flip it on its head and make it something like, oh my god, it's so cute. It's so
know,
fluffy.
Yeah. I had that reaction, and then like people were posting where to buy I think
The plushie,
the
right?
comment. We got a comment actually. Yeah, to get the plushie. Hold on, let me bring it up. We had Elizabeth Olsen.
Ah.
Not the same Elizabeth Olsen that you're thinking of. Elizabeth Olsen, PR for Ember Labs. She actually commented on the video and she told us that she loved the video.
Mhm.
You hit on many things they were trying to convey without having all the background info, and it is the very small team's first game coming to PS4, PS5, and PC on Epic Store
Right.
on August 24th. That is and she said figurines and plushies of the adorable Rot are available at rusushop.com. And I'm on there.
I've also
You
inquired
know
about
I'm on that.
physical editions of the game
Yoki.
because as of right now, it's only available digitally.
True, yes,
And their
yeah.
official Twitter account has posted that they're looking at digital or physical options. So I would love
Okay.
to see like a physical collector's edition of Kana that comes with like one of those Rot plushies or something. How great would that be?
Oh my god, so cute. I want it.
You can have that, Amber Lamb's Twitter.
The Rot plush. The Rot plush is $18. What the fuck? That is a steal, everybody. Go out and buy this. It's adorable. It's Rusu
It
Shop.
sounds terrible,
RUSU
but it's
shop.com.
adorable.
I look at it. Oh my.
I know, it's cute.
I just saw that it has tiny feet. Yeah. Oh my god. I just saw that they.
It's basically
have
like a
tiny little
Furby
feet on the underside. So fucking cute. Oh my god. I'm gonna get that game and I'm gonna buy that little plush. It's so cute. But anyway, yes, great movie. Great trailer to add to
Speaking of
trailer talk.
movie, it's Paul
Speaking of
thinking
movies.
it's a movie. That was brilliant at that trailer talk. Like, I love Paul. Oh my god, it was so great getting to meet him and talk to him last week.
Great.
But man, it was so cute, honestly. Like him being like, "When's this movie come out?" Oh wait, no, it's a game.
Right.
It kinda-
I mean, he's adorable. He's lovely.
It's funny because they kind of gave some context behind our conversation that we had with him last week, because obviously you guys had recorded that trailer talk
Prior.
before our conversation for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what he meant. Like, okay.
Yeah. And like it definitely looks like something that would appeal to him, especially if it was a movie. I don't know how much of a gamer Paul is, and we didn't really ask him last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
man
he is
runs
interested
across
in
the
this, and He loves
country.
the design and everything.
I don't see him so
Right?
much
He doesn't
playing
talk for
video
games.
games. I could be wrong. He's probably like, how do you know I
True.
wasn't running with a DS the whole time or something?
True. By the way, everybody, I have listened to Paul Both's music on
so good.
iTunes with Dirty Dealin', as well as like his own album with like Pop Icon and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is dope. This is really cool. It sounds almost like System of a Down, like his own stuff is more like System of a Down, like styled singing
was
and
one of
stuff.
the
And then
EP songs on his EP. The one, I think it was the last song or the fourth song, sounded almost Rob Zombie-ish.
yeah, that Rob Zombie actually. Yes,
Yeah.
that's fair.
I was
That's a good
like,
comparison.
All right.
Yeah, and then Dirty Dealin' is very like thrash metal.
Very Metallica.
Yeah, very Metallica
Yeah.
style. And that was fucking cool, man. That was one of the coolest things I found out about Paul. And it's just so interesting. I never knew. And it's so nice to get to chat with him because we don't really get to chat. Like I don't
Right.
chat with any of them other than Drew. I have meetings with Drew for creative projects and
And those meetings
with
go,
Liam and Todd.
work.
Yeah, yeah. And all Drew is like, just do better, Pagan. Be less shit. And I'm like, okay. Fair. Will do, sir. Please don't give me the whip again. Yeah, like it was really nice to sit down and talk to Paul. And likewise with Stephanie when we had Stephanie on.
Oh,
because
heck yeah.
I don't really get the chance to like, hey, let's just hang out and have a chat and all. So it was really cool that they came on and we got to talk.
Yeah. I hope to get both of them on sooner than later again.
Dude, we should have them on together. That'd be awesome.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. And then PJ. We should definitely get PJ on at some point.
I would love to have PJ on. I feel like that would be
Right?
great, but I wonder if and when he'll be able to do it because we know he's a busy man.
He's a busy man. It's a busy man. But collectively, everybody seems to be down for Kana, Bridge of Spirits.
Yes.
No one thinks it's great. Like everybody seems to be down for this game. I don't think there's any downside. I don't think there's anything that like people were like, no, I don't like this. How can you not like it? It looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome.
I mean, I already have it pre-ordered, so.
Do you really?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, amazing. I did not have a pre-order. I should probably get that.
I was going to hold out
along with
for
the
a physical
flush.
edition until I saw that there is no physical edition right now.
Yeah,
We'll
fair.
see.
Do you know what I would love actually? And I know that they're a small team, but I would really love if they had something like a making of documentary on like a special edition as well. That you
I
can unlock
always
by
love
completing
when
the
small
game.
studios do that kind of
I
thing.
love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ninja Theory is really good about
Yeah.
that, doing documentaries.
I was gonna say with the Hellblade documentary was like
Oh, so
beautiful.
good.
Well done, Ninja Theory. So good. I would love to see more of that actually in games, and it was really
Yeah.
cool to see. Well, I guess it was Corey Barlog's documentary about God of War.
Oh, yeah. Raising Kratos.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Mhm.
I love all that behind the scenes stuff. That's like what inspired me to get into like entertainment and acting and performing and production.
Shit, it brings me back to
in
like
the first place. It's
being a
all behind the
teenager
scenes
and
stuff,
watching special features on DVDs and shit.
right? And then they introduced like Blu-rays, which had more space for fucking behind the scenes content. And I like here's a sneak peek into my life. I never really liked
What?
behind the scenes content except for well, not that I didn't like behind the scenes content. I did enjoy it. I just that I wasn't like, oh, let me focus in on this.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like I mean, I watched the Harry Potter behind the scenes, loved it. And then about 13 or 14 years ago, I was a baby. No. 13, 14
baby.
years ago, Adam and I were talking, and I said that I fell asleep in the Lord of the Rings 2 cinema. Sorry, I think it was during the third movie in the cinema. And he was like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? You can't just, like, what? And I was like, well, I hadn't seen any of the others, and my friend brought me for her birthday.
We've talked about
And
this. Yeah, you had no
yeah,
context.
and
You
I was
didn't know
like,
who any of the characters were. Yeah.
nothing. And I had no clue, and I didn't give a fuck. I was like, whatever. I'm a Harry Potter girl. I'm never going to be into this. It's fine. And then Adam was like, I'm going to
Sit
make
tight,
you watch
buckle
all
up.
of the movies. Yeah. I'm going to make you watch all the movies, extended edition, plus behind the scenes. And I was like really against this
Like,
idea until I watched them all. And the behind the scenes are the best. And to this day, they are unmatched. Peter Jackson's behind the scenes are just unmatched.
Mhm.
And that just needs to be said. There needs to be more of these like behind the scenes documentaries. And I especially love when they do it with games.
Yeah.
So
Not enough
with like any
games
like the Naughty Dog
do that kind of
documentaries
stuff.
and exactly. And I think they should. I think it would get more maybe it might give more context obviously to see how much work goes through all of this.
It seems to be more normal for smaller studios or independent studios because a lot of them now are using like Kickstart programs or backing like fan crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And what they generally do is they will have documentaries or videos behind the scenes to show their progress to the fans who've helped kickstart the program.
Right.
So that's
Yes.
their way of like, here's what we're doing. Here's how far we've come. This is what we're working on to keep them their backers in touch with what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. I think like yeah, I just want more of that content. I love the
Yeah.
game, but I love the game so much that when it's finished and like you complete it or platinum it, I've never platinumed a game, but if you do complete it or platinum it, I want to know more about the people who made it. I want to know more about the process. I want to know more about the actors and the director and the creative director and the designer and the animators. Like I want to know. So look, maybe they won't. It's just wishful thinking. Obviously, Ember Lab's first ever game. I don't know if they're ever gonna pull out a documentary.
I'm reading
if
a
they
book
did,
about
that would be
behind the scenes
fucking dope.
stuff with development actually right now. It's by a writer named Jason Schreier, and it's called
Ooh.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. and it's a story of it's a book about the untold stories behind game development behind some of the biggest games in the world, including Uncharted 4 is on there. And that's probably one of the most interesting things for anyone who's an Uncharted fan. And it talks about how like the game started development with Amy Hennig, and then Amy Hennig had to leave, and then they brought in Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley to pick up where she left off. And then they kind of like, we just finished The Last of Us. We don't want to do this. We don't have the energy. We'll try to get the team on track, and we'll find someone from within to promote to game director, and then we're out because we need a break. And it didn't happen. They ended up becoming the main game directors and producers on the project, and they took the whole thing over. And it tells everything to like great detail of everything they went through. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like I love reading about all that stuff, and this is a great book. So if anyone's interested in like some of the woes that game developers go through, check this book out. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
That sounds like a really interesting book.
Yeah, I'm loving
buy
it.
that actually on Amazon.
Yeah,
fucking cool, man. I love that. I will do. I will. Yeah, Kane and Bridge of Spirits. If you guys want to go check out the trailer talk, it is now available on YouTube on the Retro Replay YouTube channel. All right. I mean, moving on to the Retro Replay. Yeah, I tangent a little bit in this film. PJ wasn't there to keep me in check.
Oh, is that what's happening? PJ's not there.
Yeah. I had run-of-the-mill stuff. No, it's more just that, like, it just so happened that with Cruella and Kane and Bridge of Spirits, I had already seen trailers for them, and I had already done research on them before because I was interested in the topic, and I'm like, oh, I really like this. And then we're like, hey, do you want to shoot it for trailer talk? And I'm like, oh, yes, but I have a lot to say.
I just realized something. Did you see Godzilla vs. Kong on HBO Max?
No, you just rented the film.
Okay. When I saw it in theaters the other night, I saw it in IMAX, which was incredible.
Oh, cool.
And
that must have been cool.
It like
yeah. I mean, because I watched it in the comfort of my own home, and I have to say, like, it was like it does what it says on the tin, right? It's a monster versus monster, and it's a good time. But to see that in IMAX with the full sound effect as well, that must have been dope.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. So, but here's the other thing, though, is I'm thinking of trailer talk. All right, so
yeah, sorry.
In the previews, there was a new trailer I had not seen for Dune in IMAX, and it was fucking incredible. Like that made me go, huh, like I need to see this movie, and I hope I get to see it in theaters with things starting to kind of open up again. And that immediately made me think, I wonder if PJ has seen this new trailer for Dune. Because I know he likes Dune. I know he's excited for that movie, but he like some of his biggest criticisms of the trailer was it didn't focus on the right things in the old trailer. And I think one of the biggest topics that you guys had focused on was the way it kind of bounced around on like a love interest or a relationship that was happening. And
well, that was a point that I pointed out in the beginning where it starts off that way. Like one of the first frames is like this love connection between Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, and I was like, but why? Like you didn't need to put them in the trailer at all. And then that's when PJ was like, yeah, but there's agents that cut deals with how long somebody's in the trailer. So I get it. I mean, it is what it is, but I just thought it seemed
in the new trailer they don't do that though. The new trailer is cut so much more interestingly.
I would prefer that. And honestly, there's like other versions of trailer, like the Cruella de Vil trailer. There was a second trailer for that,
right? Which you touched on.
I actually found more fascinating. Yeah, I found the other trailer better than this one that we watched.
Okay, enough about trailer talk.
I'm sorry.
No,
yeah,
that was my fault. I was the one that pulled that off the rails.
You tangented out. But yeah, sorry.
Moving on.
So moving on to this week's episode of Retro Replay featuring John DiMaggio. DiMaggio.
He's
John
a baseball
DiMaggio's
player,
in the basement. Yeah, he's that guy that they pulled in off the sidewalk. No,
I love John
in
DiMaggio.
The basement. It's fucking Bender. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just waiting for him to be like, kiss my shiny metal ass.
Not only is he Bender, but he's also Jake the dog. And he's half the other characters in...
Mark Phoenix. and like
Yeah, Marcus
everything
Phoenix.
else. He's in
He's
fucking everything. If it's
yes.
not Nolan North, it's John DiMaggio.
Yeah, he's
Like,
in
let's all be real.
John DiMaggio has probably played the most roles you didn't know over most other voice
Right?
actors, especially cartoons. John DiMaggio is in so many cartoons.
So many animated
Oh, and then
animated films and things like that as well.
he was promoting Disenchanted.
Disenchanted, yeah,
Of course, another
on
like
Netflix.
Matt Groening thing that he's a part of.
Of course.
But of course, Bender.
Because
Who can't love Bender?
Bender is so cool, man. Like, I just wanted to say it. And honestly, I've met him twice now, and I've been so tempted to be like, please, can you say,
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, bite my shiny metal ass. Yeah, he's great. He's in the basement. He's actually
Yes,
in the
he was
basement.
in the basement on the other chair for the first time. We've got a new actual like guest on set.
Guest on the show.
This is
yeah.
what we've been basically waiting for since they like shut the basement down for COVID, and then they kind of like
Right.
revamped things a little bit, and then it's like, ooh, there's chairs now. Now we can
Right.
get a guest. But the only thing the closest we came to that was like the holiday special, right when PJ
Right.
hung out.
PJ and Steph and Paul came in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they all kind of
Sure.
like cycled in and kind of spent a few minutes on the couch with Nolan.
Right. I think like I mean that was kind of cool because we actually got to see that like somebody in the seat for the first time.
Yeah.
And that the fact that it was cruel. The fact that it was crew was awesome because it's like family, the retro replay crew.
Yeah.
But to see a guest on the show, we've been
Mm.
waiting for this for a very long time. There hasn't been someone as a guest on the show because of COVID since Troy's departure.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's not including Cooper North because Cooper and Drew or Nolan were playing Father Knows Best, and they were playing in
Yeah,
a,
they were
like,
doing a separate
separate
thing.
section of the studio. So this is so cool. I mean, I was so excited to see this. This is
I
the
have to say,
dopest thing.
this is probably one of, for me, the funniest episode they've had in a long time. And it was one of the funnest episodes because this is no fault to anyone over the last year, but I've said it on this podcast. I'll say it forever. My favorite episodes of Retro Replay are always co-op episodes. There are always times when in the past it was Troy and Nolan playing co-op games, whatever that game may be, and who better to sit down and play a co-op game with Nolan than John, who also is like Nolan in the way that he doesn't know games. He doesn't understand games. So, and I thought that made such a great dynamic because if it had been Troy, it would have been Troy being like, oh yeah, just press X or just press this button. He would have been explaining shit to Nolan instead of the both of them being like, what button do I push? Like that over the top. They both just went
so
off the
good.
rails. Like both of them just going off on these crazy tangents about like being old men who don't know how to work the toys and and Metal Slug.
Did you love that?
I love Metal Slug.
Good.
I love the game. This was the perfect episode for me, honestly.
Do you know what? We've got a lot of feedback in the comments and everything as well regarding that. Like people are like, this is one of the best episodes I've ever seen. This is easily a top contender for the best episode on Retro Replay.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to see, and so good to hear. Such great feedback. Metal Slug, of course, had this 25th anniversary recently.
I love Metal Slug.
Yeah. It was a good one. It's a no-brainer. When I saw that it was having 25th anniversary, we were having discussions with Drew about games and everything. I was like, this is a good one. And then I downloaded the game myself because I think it was like on special. Yeah, downloaded the game myself. It was on special for about $5 or €5 here in Ireland. Downloaded it, started playing it, and I was like, yeah, this is dope. Yeah,
I could have told you that.
Like,
I could have told you that, Pagan.
Well, I wasn't around when the Neo Geo was there, so I fucking I just downloaded
Metal
on PlayStation.
Slug 3 on Xbox. I can still play it right now.
Right, there's like they said in the episode, there's like 30 games in the whole entire franchise. Like it's been around for a very long time,
and it doesn't change. It's still the same.
No, it's all the same. Yeah, which is kind of cool. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a
I
good episode, classic video game.
I love that Nolan took to it very quickly. Like he was doubtful at first, and then he was like,
Right.
"Oh, this is fun." Like you can't deny it.
It's a good one because like the controls are simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just X to jump, and then like fire is this button, and you have unlimited ammo if you have a pistol. You pick up a weapon, like it's simple
It's
things,
stupid,
simple things in
mindless
life.
fun.
Yeah. When they were like, "What's the P2 button?" I lost it. I
Player
lost my
2.
mind. I was like, "That is fucking hilarious." They're
Player
looking for a
2.
P1 and a P1, but P1 and P1 2 button is so good. Did you see the meme that Tina put out after
Yes.
the show?
Uh
So good. Tina, part of the community and who was on the show in the Destinoobs, came out. If you go follow her TCAV at TCAV on Twitter, she had an amazing like meme of the two old guys from the Muppets.
mhm.
And that's totally what that reminded me of. And like that's no disrespect to Nolan and John DiMaggio, but it was fucking funny.
The two of them vibed so effing good. Like
Hmm.
I don't even know why I'm saying effing, but holy crap. Like it was such a
You're censoring
perfect
yourself,
even though I already swore a couple of times, I'm
right? Same.
but it was just I feel like that's even more emphasis. They were so effing good together and the dynamic they had, the way they started riffing off each other. They started making characters. They were doing characters and like vibing off each other and rolling into like just different versions of themselves. And I can't not say that this is a little extra special episode because I'm kind of in it. I shouldn't have been in it, but I'm kind of in it.
You're kind of in it.
I was on the bar.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Yeah, you were in the bar with Brandy. Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Brandy was on the bar for the member shout out, and it's a
That's
picture of the
right.
both of us.
Yes.
And they ripped on Brandy and me, and it
Yeah.
was great. Oh, it was so good.
It was so great, honestly. I think like I think that's one of the greatest things about being an altered beast, and I know that like someone's gonna tell me off about this, but I think that's what one of the greatest things about being altered beast or Drew Soup member is because you do get to have that sort of like face-to-face interaction with the cast and the crew. So if you're a Drew Soup member on Retro Replay, you can find out all about this in the Retro Replay YouTube channel under memberships and also on the website. But if you're a Drew Soup member, you get to have once a month a Zoom call with the crew, so you get to like have a chat with all of us here. And then if you're an Altered Beast member, you also get to have chats with like Nolan, Liam, and Todd. One or more of essentially of any of
Yeah.
those guys, at least once a month. And what's great there is like you get to really develop those relationships as well. And obviously, you're here with me on the podcast. Like
Right.
we do stuff together. Like you've done this. You write for the website. Brandy works on the website as well as a curator. So you guys already
Mhm.
have that relationship there. But it is great to see because I mean that relationship's only being developed more and more every time in Zoom calls, and
Yeah, and it's not like
it's probably one of the best things. Like,
I can't do what we did the last Zoom call where I kind of got to shoot the shit with PJ a little bit and like nerd out about anime with PJ
right.
of all people. Like that doesn't happen unless you're one of those
Unless
members.
you have this Zoom, yeah,
Right.
exactly. Um, which is really cool, and I really appreciate like seeing stuff like that. And when Nolan starts to recognize names and faces, and I mean, he's really great with that stuff anyway. But
Mhm.
because you guys are like repetitively like there once a month, it's really cool. So if anybody is interested in those membership perks, they are available on the Retro Replay website as well as Retro Replay YouTube channel under the memberships tab. Feel free to go in, and if you have any questions, send them to members@retroreplayshow.com. But yes, you were on the bar. You were
Yeah.
on the bar for this shout out episode. So you're the whole way through. And there's John DiMaggio and Nolan North
Mhm.
sitting in front of you.
You know what was
How do
really
you
funny
feel?
about that is the wide shot. For whatever reason, on the wide shot of the set, there must have been like a reflecting light because it looked like there was a big circle on my face.
No way, really? I
Yeah,
haven't seen
so
that.
we were waiting the whole time that when they did the member shout out, that if when they zoomed in on the shot, if that circle was still going to be there and it was going to be a joke, like them making a joke about because Brandy is the Altered Beast member,
reflection.
and
Oh,
I thought Drew might have tried to
I
take a
actually
poke at
see it.
me and said like, Brandy is getting the shout out, not Dan.
That is actually hilarious. I've actually just seen that.
You see that what
In
I'm
the-
talking
in-
about?
In the wide shot, yeah, when you like see both of them on the couch, there's almost like the a lamp
Yeah, there's a
that's
reflection or
lighting
something
them
off a
all.
light.
There's a reflection across your face. Yeah, yeah. That's hilarious. That's amazing. But then, like, obviously, when they go zoom in, it's not there because they're actually
Right.
zooming in right on the photos. Um, that's cool. Yeah, he ripped on Brandy and you, and I thought that was kind of. It was so cool to see as well. Like, it's Nolan North, like
Yeah.
so fucking cool.
It was like we had just been talking
Such a
about
nerd.
changing our picture too, like submitting a new picture for that so that they'd have a different
Uh,
picture when they brought us up on the bar. And we had a couple of ideas. We were talking about some fun ideas for taking another like couples picture,
mhm.
which we haven't done yet, but we'll get there. But the way they rolled with that, because like I had a drink in my hand and they turned
Yeah,
that into like she spiked my drink or something. Oh, it's so
yeah.
good.
It was really good. Yeah. I like when everybody's like membership moved over from 2020 to 2021, I was like, okay, if anybody needs to update, please fill in the form again on the community tab because like we obviously have to schedule ahead of time. I'm sorry we didn't get to get your new photo up there, but the older photo worked so fucking well.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
too
couldn't have
good.
gone better. It was so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Metal Slug is a great game. They had such a great episode. I think this
Hmm.
is really cool. As far as I know, PJ in chat mentioned that we would be seeing more of John, which is cool
Yes.
in the live chat.
That makes me very happy.
Which makes everybody very happy because, like, since they had the Zoom call last week,
Yeah.
yeah, it was last week's episode, and then like now he's on set, and we're like, what the fuck? This is awesome! Like, yes,
Yes.
please, more of this content. Thank you.
Yeah, like
um,
I'm
yeah,
all here for that. And it's crazy to not, I hadn't even considered John before, but now it's like he's such a perfect fit
it.
to
Mhm.
be on that couch, to be in that basement with Nolan and for them to riff together.
Of course,
It fills my little retro replay heart.
right? It's a good time. It was a really good episode. What did you think of the opening with the April Fool's joke?
Oh, yeah, I fell for it. I fell for the
Did
April
you also?
Fool's joke. I was like, they're making a fucking clown documentary. And then it is what started to make me question it was when they were reading the cast. When they said Al
Right,
Pacino and Christopher Walken, I was like, that's odd. It happens to be two
right,
people that Nolan does very good impressions of.
right.
So I was like, this doesn't seem right. This can't be. And then, of course, oh, yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, very funny. Pagan and Drew.
I waited so long to see how that went off. Honestly, it's so fucking funny. It was obviously April Fool's Day, and I had messaged her and I was like, "Hey, buddy, do you want to do something? Like, I think this is going to be pretty fun. Like, maybe we should find a fake news story." And then we couldn't really find anything online, so just made it up.
Just made it up.
Just made that shit up. And what is so funny is like I put things in like Meryl Streep, Christopher Walken, Al Pacino because I'm like, this has to be so unbelievable to be believable
Mm,
that like it needs to be somewhat like heavy casted. Like it has
yeah.
to have like something like I couldn't just put in like randoms.
Oh,
Um,
I want to be a
right?
clown.
Like, and I just knew that if you mentioned people like that, like we
No one
just
would
knew
roll
that
with
if
it. Yeah.
no one would fucking roll with it. And you mention Christopher Walken or you do Al Pacino and he would just do those like impressions.
You should have put
That
like
was
Jason
really cool.
Statham in there or something.
I fucking should have, man. That would
Shit.
have been awesome. Shit, next time, next time.
Next time.
Yeah. Or just like someone was like, you should have just written it where it was like halfway through the paragraph, it just went into like Rickroll lyrics,
Yeah.
you know, never
Never
gonna
gonna
give
give
you
you
up,
up. Never gonna
never gonna
give
let you
let you
down.
down. Never gonna
Yeah.
hurt you.
Right? Which would have been hilarious. So I was like, oh dang, next year.
Next year.
Next year, which is cool. Yeah, listen, it was a good time. It was fun. But I had to wait for ages.
I apologize to everyone
Drew's
who
a
just listened to
stealthy
me sing.
fuck. No, so the like Drew's a stealthy fucker because I was like, how'd it go? And he's like, yeah, really good.
Perfect.
I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I have to wait.
Cool.
And he's like, yeah, you'll see when it comes out. It's great. I'm like, okay, great, cool. So
We'll
I'm
see.
glad that it worked out really well. But I think Topics and Tangents is such a great little segment for Nolan to riff off of. And now that John DiMaggio was on this show,
Yeah.
like they had such great time to actually riff off of the two of them, like the plastic surgeon one as well as as well as the April Fool's one.
Mm.
It just gives them good material to go with. I like it. I
I
don't
was
know.
curious
I
how
just
that
like I
would work
gush
in
about this
that
episode.
having a guest and like if they're going to continue with that format. And it worked like to have both of them getting like a piece of the copy and they're both talking about it and reading about it. Because
Yeah.
like it was like, you know, if they get somebody on the couch, are they still going to stick to the formula? Are they going to go kind of back to the way it
Right.
was? You know?
Which is kind of nicer. And honestly, I think this is a really cool way of like keeping everything and like I said, PJ in chat said that we'll be seeing more of John DiMaggio, which is great. And I think everybody really wants that. Like there's loads of comments on the YouTube video where there's
Mm.
like, fuck yeah, I'm all for this, bring him on more. So that's really, really cool. I'm enjoying that they're doing this guest content because like the retro replay interviews sometimes felt I guess a little like clipped in and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because there's Zoom calls and there's
Yeah.
like it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard
It's hard to make that feel natural.
right, because the timing is a little slow, or there could be a delay and like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And although it's like extremely good content for COVID and like for that, like I think everybody has been dying to see a guest on back in the basement. I was going to say on the
Mm.
couch, but the couch is gone. In the armchair, back in the basement. So this is just
Yeah.
a really cool episode, and like I gush with pride over the team's work on this. Like Stephanie's work was amazing. John and Nolan did so fucking well. You know, PJ, Drew, Paul running behind the scenes, so good.
Steph is
So
continually
like
crushing it with those edits and
amazing. Even in like the fucking trailer talk, she
like the
crushed it
little
with a
finger
teeny
wave.
weight. So good,
That was perfect.
so fucking good. I loved it. Great job, Steph. But yeah, I gush over this episode. I'm very proud of the team. They're very good.
Yes.
They're good people. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap this up. Just before we go, please go over to retroreplayShow.com where you're gonna find out some really cool fucking articles. About everything, really, from media to everyday life to
Anything and everything.
yeah, pretty much anything and everything. Some of the two highlighted articles featured this week is Why Monster Hunter is Worth a Shot by Emmanuel. And also an interview with Mike Drucker, who talks about games, writings, and his book Silent Hill 2, and that is by The Art of Lily K. So feel free to go over to the retroreplayShow.com and have a look. If you are a member, you should also get a member's invite pretty soon. If you haven't, please send an email to members at retroreplayShow.com. Sometimes the invite doesn't trigger or it could be lost in your junk mail. So send us an email and we'll send you over the invite to the website so that you can comment on those articles and engage and be part of the community over there too.
And if I can do a quick shout out for the website real quick, if any of you who haven't checked out the website, definitely get on that. There's some great articles in the pipeline. I can't say what yet, but there's some really cool stuff. There's some really great stuff coming. So you should definitely check that out.
Good call. Good call to action there. Alrighty, this is the time we're going to promote our socials. Dan, where can anybody find you if they're looking to follow you on social?
I have a child. What are you doing?
Hello, child.
What are you doing here? What are you showing me? Are you Minnie Mouse?
I love that. Is he trying to promote on social? I have a child. Okay.
Do I want a pretty Jess? She just kind of opened the door and looked at me like, hi. It was like,
oh, Lexi, hi.
Come here. Hey,
honey.
And say hi. Show her your dress.
Your dress is beautiful. I love your ears. Are they Minnie Mouse ears?
Is it Minnie Mouse? Yeah.
Ah, so pretty.
You hear her? So pretty. I know.
We'll get Lexi to close out the show.
Yeah. All right.
This is so adorable. It's so cute.
Yeah, she can be pretty darn cute sometimes. She's making a heart for you.
I love your bow.
Aw.
She's so cute.
All right, kiddo. I got to wrap up, and then I'll come down and play with you, okay? Okay. Thank you.
Oh my god, that's so fucking cute. My
Wow.
ovaries hurt.
I'm just
Okay.
like, oh hi. Where were we?
Where can we find you on socials, Dan?
You can find me at StarkyVash on Twitter. That's
Why?
StarkyVash. And I go by Stark Evil Vash on pretty much every other platform, including Instagram, Xbox Live, PSN, anywhere else you can look for me and find me. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. If anybody's looking to find me, you can find me at Pagan Plays on Twitter and at Pagan_Plays on Instagram and on Twitch. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today, listening in
Fun,
on the
very
podcast platform,
tangent-y
and also
episode.
a very tangented episode. I don't mind that though. I think like it was pretty fun. It was good to shoot the shit with you, Dan. Um, if nobody else is familiar with that expression, that just sounded really fucking weird.
Shoot the shit.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions for the cast and crew about your replay, let us know and we'll be able to get them answered on the show. If possible, we can get voice messages from Drew and the crew. So send us an email to thereplayerpodcast@gmail.com. That goes for if you have also any questions for us or if you want to be on the show as well. Feel free to
Yes.
send us an email.
If anyone wants to join us and come shoot the shit with us.
Yes. Come shoot the shit. Make sure to stay up to date with all of our podcast uploads by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook too, which we'll link in the show notes for this episode. So it should be on your chosen platform and in the YouTube description. That's game over, folks. Thanks for
Woo,
joining.
game over.
Way. Bye.
We did it.
We did it. Fair.
I'm
Very good
recording
start,
now,
very
by
good.
the way, though.
Oh, great. Good. So now I can spoil all retro replay secrets.
Yay.
Probably. No. Okay. I'm sorry. I will enter the podcast in like a moment.
Enter.
I don't know what happened there. I didn't have a cough before we started, and yet here we are. Fucking me. All right, hold on.
Your throat went, oh shit, podcast.
Yeah. Fuck it, Pagan. You have to actually podcast something. Okay. Here we go.